How's it going, guys? Jake here, and today I'm doing part 3 of the Industrial Craft 2 mod review series. Now, on the side of the screen, you're going to see a lot of time codes, and those time codes are to tell you what I'm going over in this video, and when I'm going over that particular part of this mod or type of machine. So if you need to skip to that part to understand that particular section of this mod, you can go ahead and do that. And as I said before, if you haven't seen the previous mod review videos of this series, then you definitely need to go check those out. Otherwise, you're going to be very lost on what's going on in this video, unless you already know a good amount of the basics of this mod. But besides for all that, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to go over are some gathering machines that we have here. Now we've got 3 different machines. We got the miner, we got the advanced miner, and we've got the pump. Now to make the miner, all you need is 2 electronic circuits, a basic machine casing, chest, and a mining pipe. Now to make this mining pipe, all you need is 6 iron plates and a tree tap. Now to make the advanced miner, all you need is 4 advanced alloys, 2 of the basic miners, an MFE, an advanced machine casing, and a teleporter. Now this teleporter, to make it you need 4 advanced circuits, 2 glass fiber cables, a frequency transmitter, advanced machine casing, and industrial diamond. Now to make this frequency transmitter, all you need is an electronic circuit and an insulated copper cable. And to make the glass fiber cable, all you need is 2 energium dust, 1 silver, and 6 glass. You'll get 6 of those. Finally, we have the pump. Now to make this, you need 4 universal fluid cells that are empty, an electronic circuit, basic machine casing, a tree tap, and 2 mining pipes. Here we have the basic miner. Now to use this, you need to place some type of drill. The better drill you have, the faster it will go, but also the more power it will consume. You need to place that in this slot up here. Then you need to have mining pipes, and you need to place them right here. And then this slot right here is for one of these scanners. Now you got the OD and the OV scanner. To make the OD scanner, all you need is 2 gold item casing, 2 electronic circuit, 3 insulated copper cables, an advanced RE battery, and a glowstone dust. To make the OV scanner, you need 2 gold item casing, 2 glowstone dust, 2 times 2 insulated gold cable, the OD scanner, an energy crystal, and an advanced circuit. Now, how these scanners work is they have a purpose besides just being used in this machine. So if I go ahead and use this OD scanner, this shows me that there are 4 coal ores underneath me in a 5x5 radius around. So if you go 5 blocks on each side and you go down 6. Now this OV scanner is a 9x9 radius and it goes down 12 blocks. So you can see it's picking up several more ores for me to mine with this miner. So that scanner shows you where the ores are, but then you can also place it in this miner in order to increase the area that this miner is going to mine. So if you place the OD scanner in here, then it's going to mine in a 7x7 radius all the way down to bedrock for any ores. Now if you place the OV scanner in here, it will mine in a 13x13 massive column all the way down to bedrock, mining any ores that are there. And now this does not mean that it's going to get rid of the dirt and the cobblestone in this massive 13x13 area. It is only going to go down and go over to the ores that are in a 13x13 area and then mine them. And I'll show how that works once we get this powered up. So I'm going to go ahead and place this in here and supply some power. Now you can hear it's activated. If I go ahead and remove a couple blocks, you're going to see that it's going to go down to the nearest ore that is below this. So I'm going to go ahead and let it do its thing and be right back with you in just a second. So I made this tiny side column here to let you see how it's mining. So you can see that it's not just getting rid of everything in a 7x7 area. It instead went down to this particular area to mine some iron ore that's down in that little pathway that it made right there. And as you can see, it's picking up this uranium and iron ore. And so it does pick up everything that's in the way of it getting to that ore, but it does not pick up all those blocks just in general. So this is the basic miner. It goes straight to the ore to collect it, and it'll keep going to all the different ores as long as you supply power and enough mining pipes to do so. So now we have this advanced miner. I'm going to go ahead and supply a tier 3 power source to it so that it can fill up with power. As you can see, this can hold a lot of power. So there are a couple differences between this and the normal miner. First, you don't need a drill. Second, you don't need any mining pipes. You only need a power source. And then third, it's got a couple filters and modes that you can turn on and off. Now, here's where you'd place, whatever battery you wanted, but I'm just putting mine in via the storage machine. This is where you'd place your scanner, so I'm going to go ahead and place the larger scanner because I want it to be able to pick up more blocks. Now you can see it's already started going because it doesn't require a drill or anything, so it's just started mining. But now you can also see that I'm starting to pick up some stuff. That's because it's throwing things out, and I'm going to go ahead and place a crystal chest on top of it so it doesn't do that. Because if you place a chest on top of this, it will immediately start importing those blocks into this chest, so it doesn't start flinging it out everywhere. Or you could use some other pipes and stuff to get it to go over to a different type of chest or something like that. But what this mode blacklist, and if I make it stop mining for a second, I can switch it to whitelist, what these things do are very useful. With blacklist, anything that you place in here, and this is not a storage unit, this is the filter, so you can place 15 blocks, and those blocks that are in there, it will not mine those. It will mine everything else, but it will ignore those. If you place it in whitelist, the blocks you put in here, those are the only blocks this miner is going to mine. It will ignore everything else. And as I said, this works the exact same way as that miner over there, in that it goes down to the ore. It doesn't just drill this massive 13 by 13 hole in the ground. So I can place the scanner back in here, and it's going to start mining once again. As you can see, its coordinates of where its mining head is at right now. Then another thing you can do is you can switch to Silk Touch for depending on what ores you're mining or wanting to mine. And then over here you got some upgrade slots as usual. Now the other machine that I was going to go over is the pump. Now the pump, when you set it down, the only thing you need to make sure is that this great area right here is facing towards the water. Now because a 2x2 section of water is an infinite water source, this is basically going to gather up water for an infinite amount of time. So once this has a power source applied to it, it'll start pumping out water into this machine very quickly. And then all you have to do is place a bucket or one of these universal fluid cells, and it will immediately fill it up with water. So very useful. As you can see, it doesn't take any power at all. And you can also use some fluid pipes and all that stuff to have this water go to other machines if necessary. Next we have some processors. Now starting off with the induction furnace. To make this you need an electric furnace, an advanced machine casing, and 7 copper ingots. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and 2 ores right here. And then you also have the extractor. Now to make this you need 4 tree taps, an electronic circuit, and a basic machine casting. Now I'm going to go ahead and set down this induction furnace and supply some power. Now this does take a good amount of power. And now what this induction furnace does is it allows you to smelt 2 ores at once. So you can see this is taking quite a while, but that's also because this heat is at only 1%, and it takes a while for this heat to build up. You can also see that my battery is already out of energy. Now, once this finally completes, and the higher the heat, the faster this goes, you'll have both these ores smelted at the same time and placed into these slots. Now you have these 2 upgrade slots here on the side as well, and I'll get into an upgrade later that allows you to store this heat, because as you can see it's going away right now since it's got nothing to smelt. And if you store that heat, then the next thing that starts smelting will smelt faster and then keep going up and up. So instead of this heat going away, you can place an upgrade to keep it there, and I'll get to that in just a second. Next we have the extractor. Now this extractor, it is pretty simple. All you have to do is place one particular item right here with the power supply here, and it'll extract it. Now we've got some upgrade slots over here. Now an example of this is you can take a filled tin can, get it to an empty tin can. You can do rubber wood, get rubber out of it. You can go colored wool, get white wool out of it. So there are a bunch of different things you can do, and I'm kind of quickly flipping through them so you can see what you can do with this extractor. Next we have the metal former. To make this you need an electronic circuit, 2 toolboxes, a basic machine casing, and 3 coils. Now to make a toolbox, all you need is a chest and 5 bronze item casings. Now we also have a solid canning machine. To make this you need 2 tin cans, a basic machine casing, and 2 electronic circuits. And we have a fluid/solid canning machine. To make this you need 7 tin item casings, an electronic circuit, and a basic machine casing. So starting with this metal former, if I go ahead and take it and set it down, it has 3 different types of modes. It has an extruding mode, a rolling mode, and a cutting mode. Now with those types of modes, there are many different things you can do. In the extruding mode, you can take tin item casings, turn them into cans, you can turn things into fuel rods, you can make gold cables out of just gold ingots, stuff like that. Pretty simple and self-explanatory, kind of flipping through them there for you to see. Then we have the rolling mode. Now this, you can take tin plates and turn them into item casings, you can flatten iron ingots into iron plates, stuff like that, kind of going through them. As you can see, there's 14 different things you can do. It's mainly the same thing, but just with different metals. Then finally we have the cutting mode, and now this takes iron plates or any type of plates and turns them into cables for you to use. Or you got industrial credit, stuff like that, tin cables, all that type of stuff. There's only 5 in that section right there. Then we have a solid canning machine and a fluid/solid canning machine. Now the solid canning machine, it is very simple. All it does is take some solid, put it in a can, and then its final product will be here. You got some upgrade slots on slide and a power slot right there. And so a couple examples right here, as you can see, you can get some uranium in a fuel rod and it fills it up. Then you've got got some food into tin cans, and it makes them into a filled tin can. So you can see there's 22 different things you can do, and you just put food into cans basically with this machine. Very simple. But a much more difficult or complex machine is this fluid/solid canning machine. And now when you see this, it's a pretty crazy GUI. Now you've got your usual upgrade slots here on the side and your power slot over here. But this can machine has many different modes to it. It's got a canning mode, a drain from cell into tank, fill cell from tank, and fluid and rich. Then it goes back to canning. So you got other things like switch tanks and all that stuff. But I'm not going to really get into how to use this right now, as I'm going to use it in just a second when making a particular resource called biogas that you're going to need for a generator. Finally, we have a block cutting machine. Now to make this, you just need an electronic circuit, basic machine casting, and an electric motor. Now you have 3 different types of blades for this machine. You've got the iron blade, and now to make this, it's any type of polished dorite, stone, whatever, surrounded with iron plates. You've got a steel blade, and now this is a iron ingot surrounded with steel plate. And then you've got a diamond blade. This is diamonds surrounding a steel ingot. Now the reason why you have 3 different blades is for different levels of hardness. Right here you've got a hardness of 3, a hardness of 6, and a hardness of 9. So you're going to need a harder blade to cut anything that is softer than diamond, or softer than steel, or softer than iron. So if I go ahead and show you a couple of things that you can do with this machine, you can see you got lapis lazuli. Now this isn't this is stronger or harder than iron, so you're going to need like a steel or a diamond blade to cut this. But wood, you can cut that with an iron blade just fine. So you can see there's a bunch of different things that you can do right here, and that it's very efficient in that 1 log will give you 6 planks, unlike just 4 if you were to place it in a crafting table. So you can see all these different things you can do. You got the logs, you've got several different metals into gold plates, all that type of stuff. Next, I'm going over a new type of generator. Now this generator is called the semi-fluid generator. Now to make this, you just need 4 iron atom casings, 4 universal fluid cells that are empty, and a geothermal generator. Now the fuel that you're going to make for this is biogas. Now there are many different types of fuel, some that are included with adding the forestry mod with this mod, but for right now I'm just going to go over biogas since it's kind of the easiest to make in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and set all this stuff up, and I've already gone over all these different crafting recipes and all that stuff, but I'm going to set it up to show you how to use all this to make this biogas and then use this generator. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make biochafe. Now to make this, all you need to do is take a bunch of different things and place it in a macerator. So you could make it with 16 seeds, a plant ball, 8 cactuses, another 16 different types of seeds, 8 wheat, all that type of stuff, and I'm going to kind of flip through all the recipes here for you. And then once you do that, you're going to want to take one of those fluid/solid canning machines, the ones with the very complex GUI. Add some power to the machine. You got your upgrade slots over here, as I said. And now you're going to switch it from canning over to drain from cell into tank. Then you're going to place your water bucket up here. And after this process happens, this water is going to go through this over into this tank over here. And there we go. Now we get our bucket back and we have our water over in this tank. Then you're going to want to press switch tanks. So now the water is over here. Then go to fluid and rich, and that's where you're going to place your biochaff in the center and then let it do its magic again, as this water is going through the biochaff to then make biomass. Not biogas, but biomass. So now we have some biomass over here in this tank. So we can take our biochaff out. You can make as much of this as you want. Then you're going to press switch tanks again, and then go to fill cell from tank. Then you're going to take a universal fluid cell that's empty, place it up here, let the magic happen one more time as this biomass is going into this universal fluid cell. And boom, there we have it. We now have a full fluid cell filled with biomass. And now you're going to come over here to what's called a fermenter. Now you're going to place this universal fluid cell right here. It's going to empty it, place it down here. You can take it out, and you can see that this can hold quite a bit of biomass. Now how this fermenter works is you need heat for it to ferment. So that's why we have an electric heater right here. Now I've gone over this electric heater before. Very simple. All you do is take coils in here, place them in here like this, and then add some type of power source. And now it is adding heat to this fermenter, which is completing this conversion process into turning this biomass into biogas. And now once this biogas is filled up to 1,000, it will completely fill up one of these universal fluid cells. So I can go ahead and place it in there. As you can see, it is slowly filling it up. And then once it hits 1,000, it will go down into this slot right here for me to take out. Then you've got some upgrade slots right here at the bottom. Now we have biogas, and this is where we can use our semi-fluid generator. Very, very simple. All you do is you place it right here, it empties out right here, and now it is automatically producing energy just like that. And this slot down here is for you to place or charge your battery if you want to. So you can place as much as in here, or you could have it pump into here using some fluid pipes and all that, so that you don't have to manually switch it over to this. So very useful generator right here. The next thing I'm going over is a little bit more complex. It is universal usable matter production. Now there are 4 main machines that you're going to use. You're going to use a matter fabricator, a scanner, a pattern storage, and a replicator. Now to make a matter fabricator, it's just 2 advanced machine casings, 4 glowstone dust, 2 advanced circuits, and a lapotron crystal. A scanner is 2 iron plates, 2 advanced circuits, 2 electric motors, an advanced machine casing, illuminator, and reinforced glass. Pattern storage is 3 reinforced stone, 2 crystal memories, 2 mining lasers, an advanced circuit, and an advanced machine casing. And to make these crystal memories, very simply, just take a crystal memory raw, put it in a furnace, and to make raw, it is 4 obsidian dust and 5 silicon dioxide. Then finally we have the replicator. Now this is 2 reinforced stone, a reinforced glass, 3 teleporters, so very expensive, HV transformer, 2 of those, and then an MFE. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these machines to set up. Now you're going to need a lot of power to use this UU matter, so that's why I have these power tier 4 and tier 3 where they store up to many hundreds of thousands of EUs. So this is a very basic setup that you can do. You can make it way more complex, have the energy going from many different directions, but this is just for teaching you right now. Now this matter fabricator is a power tier 3, so make sure you don't use a power tier 4, which are required for the scanner and this replicator, to use this, otherwise this will blow up, so be very careful. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply some energy to this, and now you can see that it's already starting what's called progress. Now it is transforming just the stuff around it into UU matter. Now if you were to go ahead and take some scrap, and you're going to need a lot of scrap, if you place it right here and feed it, it will make the progress go much faster, and it won't be using as much energy out of your storage bank or wherever you're powering it from. Now as you can see, it uses a lot of scrap, and this also shows you how long this progress is, as once it hits 100, it makes only 1 MB of UU matter, and you typically need a lot to make a bunch of stuff, or at least a bunch of expensive things like diamonds, which I'm going to try to replicate right now. And now this will go on forever. Even once this scrap goes away, as you can see, it still continues, and there it is. It just keeps going on forever. It's a little annoying with that noise, but whatever. And actually I'm going to stop that, because who likes that? But from that, you would be able, after enough time, to get a full UU matter universal fluid cell, just simply by placing it in the slot, which will automatically empty it into one of these cells. But next we have a scanner and pattern storage. Now in a scanner, this is where you're going to take whatever item you're wanting to scan and place it on a crystal memory right here. Now you're going to need a lot of power for this, and let's say I'm going to want to go ahead and copy a diamond, because why not? So I'm going to go ahead and place a diamond right here, and you can see it says error energy loss because I need a lot of power for this. So I'm going to go ahead and place this right behind it, and now you can see that it has started scanning. So each time this goes up 1%, and we need to reach 100, and you can see it's being powered by this beast of a power storage area right here. And so once this reaches 100, this diamond, you can save it to this crystal memory, and then that's where we'll get into this replicator and pattern storage. So I'm going to go ahead and let it do its magic. And booyah, scan is completed. Now, for this diamond, it is telling us that we need 24.1 MB of universal usable matter in order to replicate this diamond, and it takes 0 energy as well. So we can either delete this, or we can save it to this crystal memory, and we're definitely going to save this. So now this crystal memory has the item of diamond, and it tells us how much UU matter we need in order to make it. So I can go ahead and place this in my pattern storage, and then hit import from crystal. It tells me what it is, how much matter it needs, and how much energy it needs. And I can take this out, and it'll stay right here. As you can keep placing different crystal memories in here, and then you can go to the next pattern last, and so it shows that there's only 1 of 1 in here. So then with your replicator placed right next to this pattern storage, all you have to do is fill it up with your UU matter, and you can see this tank holds quite a lot. And then you can activate however many times you want it to run. You could do a single run, you could stop it, or you could do a repeat run. Now, for what it's going to replicate or place or duplicate right down here. It depends on what's in this box up here. Now, this is taking the pattern storage information and applying it right here. So you can go to last pattern, next pattern, but because I only have one of one, that's why only the diamond is showing up. So I'm now going to apply a power source to this from behind. You can see that it's now filling up with power, and I'm going to do a repeat run. Now, this doesn't take any power to duplicate this. All it takes is power for the machine to run, basically. So certain things will have or cost an amount of energy in order for it to duplicate. But right now, this is only costing 24.1 of this UU matter in order to duplicate this diamond. And this is kind of as expensive as it gets. Some things are, like dirt, are like 0.001 of this type of fluid. So you can make a lot of things, especially if they're cheaper. But you can see how ridiculous this is as I'm now copying diamonds to use for, whatever I want. So unbelievably powerful setup, does take a lot of energy and time, but well worth it. Next we have some upgrades. Now, these are what you're going to place in those upgrade slots, which I've been talking about over these multiple episodes that are in a bunch of machines. Starting off with the overclocker upgrade. Now this decreases power time to 70% and increases power to 160, so it makes it much more efficient. Then we have a transformer upgrade. This increases the energy input tier by 1. So this is basically what those MV and HV transformers that I went over in the last episode. This does that same job, except it does it internally in the machine, so you don't have to place those, outside and have a bigger mess of wires and whatever. Then we have an energy storage upgrade, which increases energy storage by 10,000 EU. And then we have a redstone signal inverter upgrade, which inverts the current redstone signal. Next we have the ejector upgrade. Now this automatically outputs anything in the machine to the reverse valid side. So I'll go over this in just a second, and then you have the advanced version of this. You have the same thing with the pulling upgrade. It does the exact opposite of the ejector in that it pulls something from another machine or resource into the machine that this upgrade is placed in. Then you have the advanced version of this as well. Then you've got this both in fluid ejector and a fluid pulling upgrade. So it does the exact same thing as these, except it's for fluids. Now I'm going to quickly go through all of these crafting recipes, just kind of show them up so that you can see them. But this is where I highly recommend you get the Just Enough Items mod. Now that mod allows you to see all these crafting recipes so that you know what to make with all these items and all that. Very useful mod, and this is what it looks like over here on the side. Now these advanced parts, they don't have any crafting recipes, so they might just be creative only, but they just give some more information than these two basic ones. But I'm going to go ahead and take all these. So for example, I'm going to set down the thermal centrifuge and apply power to it. And now, as you can see, it's filling up with power, and I'm going to let it go and work. Now, as this keeps going on over and over, this bar will eventually fill up, showing the amount of heat that it has in it. But as soon as this isn't working anymore, the heat will start to die down, just like it did in the induction furnace. So what this means is that right now you can see that its heat is almost all the way up, so that it will start to get through with this crushed iron ore. But if I place this in, you can see it jumps down. That's because it's adding more heat that it has to fill up here. And now this would also happen if you were to apply a redstone signal to the outside of this, but that's the whole point of this upgrade, is that it makes it to where that doesn't have to happen. So you don't have to have any redstone stuff going around on the ground. So you can see that if I get rid of this, it's at full heat. That's why the progress bar is going up. But if I place it in, you can see that it can still go up higher than that. And that's what we want, because as soon as this stops, and I'll let it complete its first progress so that we have some stuff pop up over here. As soon as it stops, this is not going to be building up heat anymore if this was not in it. So if I get rid of this, you'll notice that the heat starts to go down. But if I place it in, it will actually continue to go up. That's the whole point of this, is so that this can continue to go whether or not there's something in it right at this very moment. Now, also with this thermal centrifuge, I'm going to explain this ejector and pulling upgrade. So very simple. All you have to do is choose which side of the block you want the item to come out of, to go into a chest, go through a pipe to another machine, whatever. So let's say this side. I'm going to go ahead and shift and right click, and now you can see that there's a specific arrow that is lit up on this upgrade. So if I go ahead and place it in here, you can see that it says it will automatically output to the north side, since that is what that side is, facing to the north. Same thing with the pulling upgrade. If I go over here, select this side, I can now place this in here, and it's lit up, and now it says it'll automatically have an input from the south side. So that's how these things work. And now with the advanced versions of this, yeah, as I said, you can't make these, but these work the exact same way, except if you right click in the air, they show different things like that. You can have them show energy, meta, that type of stuff. But they also have a 3x3 grid for a filter, meaning that, let's say you say, I don't want it to eject any of this iron. And I mean, you only need to place one, you don't need to place a bunch. But if there's any crushed iron ore in here, then it's letting this machine know, do not eject any crushed iron ore. Same thing with the pulling upgrade. If you're to place any of this iron ore in here, it would be telling the machine, don't pull into this machine any crushed iron ore. So it just adds a little bit more customization that you can do to your machines and your different power setups. And finally, we have terraforming. Now, terraforming, very cool. It allows you to change the land that's around you. So first, you're gonna need to make a terraformer. Now, to make this very simple, all you need is 4 glowstone dust, 3 any type of dirt, an advanced machine casing, and a TFBP. Now, that stands for terraforming blueprint, and that's much easier to say than that little word right there. And now, all you need to do to make that is an electronic circuit, advanced circuit, and 2 redstone to make one of those empty ones. Now, you have 6 different terraforming things that you can do to land. You've got chilling. To make this, all you need is 4 snowballs. You've got cultivation. All you need is 4 seeds. You've got desertification. All you need is 4 of any type of sand. You've got flatification, where you need 4 of any type of dirt. You've got irrigation, which is 4 of any type of water. And you've got mushroom, and that is 4 mycelium and 4 mushrooms. Now, also, there's no GUI on this. All you do is right-click to put something in and to take something out. But you need a power tier 4 and some type of cable that can support that type of power to go into this machine. So now you join me on a flat world to demonstrate this terraformer. I'm going to go ahead and set down the power source, and then go ahead and connect the 2. So we're going to start off with the chilling blueprint. Now, if I go ahead and right click on this, it will now start to place snow around in a 2 chunk area, and it will also freeze water as such. So just keep placing up snow, keep transforming this land, and I'll go ahead and let you see what it looks like. So you can see it is getting pretty snowy out here. So we're going to go ahead and stop that. Next we have the cultivation. Now this will place a bunch of different saplings, seeds, pumpkins, everything around. As you can see, it does it very quickly, and it just places plants everywhere. It will also place down hoed dirt with seeds on top of it for that to start growing. So you can see we just now have plants, well, everywhere. Also, as you're seeing all these plants being placed, it also places seeds and saplings from every different biome, so you could have many different trees or get many different saplings from biomes that you might not be in. That's also why you might have noticed an acacia tree being at my original site that it shouldn't have been there, as I was in a mountain biome. That's because of this beautiful machine that I tested. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop this. Next, we have desertification. Now, this will basically change everything into sand in that 2 chunk radius. It will plant cactuses, it will rot plants, cause forest fires, melt ice and snow, that type of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and place it in and see what it does. Also, as a heads up, this does change blocks underneath it as well. So that's why you might not be seeing a bunch of blocks pop up right now. That's because it's changing sand blocks underneath it. Okay, let's take a look underneath. Yep, I called it. You can see a bunch of the stuff is now sand underneath it. So, yeah. Wherever you see one of those things, it's probably a tower of sand. Yep, look at that. Next, we have flatification. Now, this will flatten out anything in the 2 chunk radius that is above this machine, and it will also make the ground level with this machine. So, because this is 1 block above the floor, it will spawn dirt everywhere in the 2 chunk radius to make it level with this machine. So, let's go ahead and watch what this does. Okay, let's go ahead and stop this machine. That didn't stop it. Next, we have irrigation. Now, this allows plants in that 2 chunk radius to grow much more quickly. So if I go ahead and place this down, you might notice flowers are now starting to spawn everywhere. But I'm going to stop it quickly because this works wonderfully if you also have a cultivation thing activated. So if I go ahead and put a cultivation thing in here and then get its own power source right there, I'm going to go ahead and spawn a bunch of different trees and saplings around. That should be enough. And let's switch it back to this irrigation, and all those things will start to grow. finally we have this mushroom blueprint. So if I go ahead and place this in here, step back, it will start to change the ground to that mycelium. So you can see it starts placing that stuff around, and then it will start to place some mushroom downs with it. Okay, let's go ahead and stop that. That's pretty much it for part 3 of the Industrial Craft 2 mod review series. Now, I went over some advanced machines, just some different basic things in this mod, except with this out of the way, now that leaves only the nuclear reactor or nuclear power to go over. So I'm going to be going over that in part 4, which will be coming out very soon. Now, even though that will officially end the series, I can do more parts or more particular parts if you still want some help with a certain machine, or if I didn't go over one particular thing that you needed help on. So let me know down in the comments below throughout any of these episodes if there's something that you want me to go over to help clarify or anything of the sort. But for right now, thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. And as I just said, comment down below any of that stuff, as I'll be happy to try to help you. And I'll see you all in the next video. High five.